Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
Yeah, Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
And on this Camp Report show, Bob, we're going really from Maine to Florida because I'm going to be visiting Wells Beach, Sun Outdoors, Wells Beach Resort. They're one of our partners that we always stay at their parks. And they've got some new additions this year that are really cool, and they're very happy to tell us about it. How about you?
Great. I've got an interview with Karen Redford, CMO and Senior Vice President of Go RVing down at RVIA. We're going to talk about some of the new Go RVing rebranding and some of the campaigns, and also the inexpensive cost of travel, which ties in with our show tonight being taped now for Friday before Memorial Day. Can't believe it's Memorial Day, but it is.
It is already. This is the week, Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial. You know what? There's so many different official starts and unofficial starts of the camping season, but I'll be camping this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. And all of our news, Bob, comes primarily from where?
RV Business with good friend Rick Kessler and Woodall's Campground Magazine with Ben Quiggle.
We'll be back with the news and those stories right here. Where, Bob?
On the Camp Report Show.
Stay with us, everyone. And welcome back to the Camp Report Show. My name is John DePietro. We're here in the news section of our show. He's Bob Zagami over there. And Bob, officially, the camping season has started. It's Memorial Day weekend, and our friends at RVIA tell us that 12 million people plan to go camping this weekend. I know two of them. That's my wife and I.
Yeah, this is really a big win. I heard that 12 million figure. In fact, 12 million are going camping. And I heard that from Thursday to Monday, 17 million are going flying. They're going to be on airplanes. Who do you think is going to have the best trip?
Zagami, you and I, in the last couple of weeks, you spent 6 hours in the Fort Myers airport one day, and 2 days later, I spent 6 hours in the South Bend airport, and then it took us 45 minutes to get from gate to gate in Atlanta. And what were we saying? We should have taken an RV.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel bad for the 17 million who are not going to be in an RV this
Hey,
week.
and then just last weekend, you spent what? You left your house at 9 in the morning for a 12 noon flight.
Right.
Okay. At what? 4 o'clock, the flight was canceled after sitting on it for 2 hours.
Yep.
And what was Myra's comment to you on text? Should have had an RV, right?
Yeah, should have had an RV.
So,
And we're taking, so we screwed up that last weekend. So this weekend we're flying back, and it's the same flight, 12:30 for Saturday, and probably a whole lot more people flying. But
yep, yep.
what the heck?
Well, this report, a lot of it is put out by our friend Karen Redford, who you're going to be talking with directly on another part of this show. But, they said that there'll be 72 million Americans taking an RV trip in the next 12 months, including 44 million of those that are going RVing this summer. And RVing is just getting more and more popular. And
well, some of the things that have changed, when they asked the people, and Scott Baer did the survey for RVIA, and he's the gentleman who does the North American Camping Report and Camping and Hospitality Report,
you have to add
North American Camper and Outdoor Hospitality Report 2023 for KOA. And they found the top 5 reasons for people enjoying RV travel right now. And I think the number one is really important. More flexible work schedule allows more travel. And the fact that people have flexible schedules, they can work at home, they can work anywhere. That's the number one reason
they can work on the road.
A lot of that activity.
Yep.
And then 2, traveling with more with kids and family. Well, that kind of goes along with number 1.
Yep.
So, but now you can work and take your family with you.
Okay. Now I'm looking at the same list that I see. And number 3, how important is that? Now, we were both stuck on one of those regional jets, which basically says we have no room. You're not getting coffee. You're not getting water. You're not getting soda. And you're not getting any room to stretch your legs. How about last weekend when my wife and grandkids came with us? They got to sit in the back. They were belted into a couch, but my wife got to sip wine and just relax with the kids. That is not the same on a plane, train, or automobile.
Well, not only that, cost factor comes into this, and sometimes it's not mentioned enough. But while we were sitting in the Fort Myers airport, we decided to have lunch.
Oh, oh,
And lunch at the local bar, by the time we had just two sandwiches, two drinks,
$60.
$100.
No,
$100.
you have giant drinks.
No, regular size drink.
$100.
It was only a single shot of Jack Daniels, but
Okay.
$100.
Travel in comfort.
Yep.
Exploring the great outdoors was another one. The only outdoors you get with an airplane is looking out the window.
Right, because the only thing you see is indoors.
Yep.
Sitting in those crappy chairs next to the gate, waiting and hoping that the next thing you hear is that they're going to get ready to board, and then unfortunately, our plane has been delayed again for another hour. We apologize for the inconvenience for you to do that.
They said while holding their fingers.
Right. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll find a crew, maybe we'll find the part, and maybe you'll fly today. But in that case, we
Maybe
didn't fly today. In fact, what was funny about it, they have a great system at the Fort Myers Airport for the long-term parking and the shuttle service. By the time you park your car, there's a shuttle at the back of your car, and they're out, and they take the luggage out of your car. They put it on the bus, take it to the airport. They take it off the bus. We had the same driver 8 hours. So we arrive. We have this great kid that takes us over there. We blow the whole day in the airport. We get back on. Who's our driver? The same kid. And he looks at us like, "Didn't you leave this morning?" I said, "No, we never left."
Yeah.
This is the shuttle bus driver. He said, "You've been sitting in the airport all day?" I said, "For the last 8 hours, just waiting to fly."
Yep. Yeah. Well, one other thing here. We're talking about summer travel. We talk about Memorial Day, but RVing is really a year-round activity. And like you said, 72 million Americans plan to take a trip in the next 12 months. And 32% of leisure travelers said that they would like to take an RV in the next 12 months. And you know what? There's places that you can rent an RV to try it before you buy it and see if you like it. And I have found that one local RV dealer that does a lot of rentals in Massachusetts, where I live, called Fuller RV, they said that 80% of the people who try an RV for just a short, like a 2-day rental, come back and rent it for a longer period of time because it is so relaxing. And
well, in a survey the industry did a few weeks ago, they surveyed rental companies, and fully 80% of them felt that they were going to have better sales in 2023 than they did in 2022. And that's indicative of people who either are renting again and more often, or who are thinking about buying. And as they do see that, especially when you said about the leisure travel, those people are now going to rent and rent more often, and then they're going to wind up buying. So when you look at where they go, it's kind of industry. It's interesting. The 43% of them are going to private campgrounds. That's still pretty high. 43% are taking a multi-state road trip. 42% national parks, and 40% state parks, and that is a big item for people who are just getting into RVing. I think it's actually increased some. Yep. The national park system was already breaking national records the last 2 or 3 years.
Before 2020, right?
Now they're coming up. 31% go to the lake, 29% go to the beach. Most important to them, and this has been increasing every year, they want to have our Wi-Fi. Yep. The fact of our Wi-Fi, both for source work and play.
Yep. We joke before the big work boom hit the RV lifestyle because of COVID. They want to stay connected so they can get out of it. To get out, what they want to get away from it all, but still stay connected, which is kind of contradictory in terms. But you know what? There's so many. There's so many great reasons to go RVing, and you know what? That report really says a lot. And you can look at reports and try to pick out little minuscule aspects of it, but there's really nothing negative in this report. People love RVing, and they're going more and more, and we're one of those people.
Yep, they're expanding their horizons. Off-road ability is a big factor with a lot of the new RVs in terms of boondocking, solar panels, extended lithium batteries. That's giving them life outside the campground, and that's important to the younger generations.
Yep.
So when you look at it, we're really very fortunate in that we have an RV pretty much for anybody that wants to go, whether it's a pop-up camper or 45-foot diesel pusher. We have entry level, we have mid-range, we have luxury in each of those categories, whether it's a pop-up or a Class B or a motorhome or a tent or fifth wheel.
It's interesting that you say that, because that is exactly what we experienced in our next segment, where I talk about what's going on at Sun Outdoors Wells Beach, where we had tenters right near us. We had A-liners right near us. We had van people just across the way. We had the 45-foot diesel pushers. We had several Cougar motorhomes, which are Cougar fifth wheels, which our friend Kevin Horkey would love to hear me say. And then they're putting in 8 park models. So a little bit of everything at that particular resort. And we've got to get out of here because we're already at overtime.
It's a good time to be in the RV industry. It's a good time to be a consumer looking for an RV.
And it's a good time to be an RVer, which we will be this weekend. And we want to let people know that, what's the name of this show?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody. We got 2 great features coming right up. Hey everybody, we are in the beautiful state of Maine. We are in Wells Beach. We're at Sun Outdoors Wells Beach, and we're talking with Paige Rhines. Yes. Just like Leanne Rhymes, but Rhines.
With an N, yep.
With an N, okay. And Paige, thank you so much for the hospitality this weekend. It's kind of our start of the summer season, and I was surprised. Here we are, it's the end of May. It's not even Memorial Day, and you got a pretty good crowd here already.
We do. It's beautiful today. We had some rain yesterday and last night for sure.
That's like putting it mildly.
We had quite a lot of rain, but we're very lucky that our Canadian friends to the north really enjoy this part of Maine, and this is a holiday weekend for them. We had lots of guests come down, about a 6-hour drive for them to join us for the weekend and get a little sun today, thankfully.
Well, you know, we saw people walking their dogs and giving commands in French, so we knew they were the Quebecers. But, you know, this property itself, tell us about how many units there are here. And then I know you have a special treat that you want to tell us about that is not on the drawing board, but ready to be put into action.
Oh, we are so excited this summer for that. We are very lucky in our campground here to have 33 seasonals rejoining us this year. A lot of these campers you see behind me are our seasonals. We have a wonderful community here, and then we have we're just around 200 sites total. We have some beautiful primitive tenting sites. We have some premium tenting sites with water and hookup. Our 400 section over there is gorgeous. A lot of our Canadian friends come in camper vans or pop-ups and take advantage of a nice quiet area over there. And then we have beautiful deluxe and premium pull-through, and as you can see, these very large back-end sites as well. Our new project this year is we have 8 beautiful, gorgeous luxury park model cottages, RV cottages that we've installed. They will be ready for June 1st, and I cannot wait for you guys to see them.
And you know, the thing is this, since COVID hit in 2020, so many new people have gotten into RVing, but because they live in a city or for whatever reason, they can't own an RV, but they still want to camp. But you know what? They're above and beyond tenting. And this really is luxurious property.
They're so fantastic. We have seen, like you said, a boom since 2020 and visitors wanting to come enjoy beautiful properties like what we have here. And this is a way that you can do it without the huge financial commitment of owning an RV or maintaining an RV, or the gas commitment of driving where you're going with that RV behind you. You can come, bring your kids, bring your family, just with what you need for the weekend, and the RV or the cottage is all set up and ready for you to go and enjoy the comforts of home in a campground and have access to all this beautiful outdoors and the beach and everything that you have here.
Right. We want to talk
trouble.
about what's around Wells, because Wells is really the center of so much activity. But these particular units, same floor plan for all, or are some going to be more bedrooms, or what?
We do have one ADA accessible unit that the floor plan is different. The other 7 are 2 bedrooms, 1 queen size bed. The other bedroom is a full size with a twin bunked on top. And we also have a queen or full pull out in the living room. Beautiful, beautiful full stand up shower, cooktop, sink, coffee maker, everything you need. They have fire pits outside, and then the ADA unit on the end has a bunk bed as well as ADA accessible bathroom and a queen size bed.
So my favorite feature is the screened porch.
Yes.
Because no bugs with the screens, and plus you got air conditioning inside if needed, right?
True, air conditioning and heat because we're open through October.
Oh,
so
great.
come see the foliage and stay warm at night.
Great. So people can reserve those the same way they would reserve a RV spot, right?
Yes, our website is beautiful for that. We also have a on-call center, or you can call here at the campground and our staff can help you out.
Okay, now, question. Wells is, what, 20 miles into Maine. It's not way up north. You're not going to see moose running around.
I don't know, you might. But
You may.
probably not.
But the reason I say that is because coming from Boston or coming from central Massachusetts or Hartford or Providence, it's not a day's drive.
It's not at all. We're less than an hour, I believe, outside of Boston. Really, you know, everyone knows Portsmouth Kittery, where you cross over the bridge in there.
Yep.
We're just outside of Kittery, just north of that, maybe 20 minutes from Kittery, if that. It's a really easy drive. I think an hour and a half from Foxborough, hour 40 from Foxborough, really straight up 95, Route 1, you know, you're here. It's real simple.
Great. And you know what? It's sunny outside. Oh, by the way, you have pools, you have
Yes.
playgrounds,
We
that
do
type of thing.
Volleyball, bocce ball, basketball.
And here's the other thing, it's so important. Immaculate restrooms.
Yes, we are so proud of our staff, and the guests here too really take pride in this place. I'm relatively new here. I came in here and was just incredibly impressed with how well maintained this property has been over the years from the original owners, and since Sun has come in, they've taken so much pride in maintaining the facilities, not just the restrooms, but the lawns and the trees and the pool and the laundry room. Everything here is just incredibly maintained, beautifully clean, and our guests love it here so much that they take good care and don't leave a mess, and we just have a great community here that keeps the place great.
The other thing that you have, the other 2 things that you have that I don't think of any other places around, you've got your own real, actual, with mountains and volcanoes and lakes, miniature golf.
We do. I'm very excited to open that up Memorial Day weekend this year, hopefully. The Maine winter was a little hard on it this year, but we're getting it ready to go. We'll have a beautiful waterfall going, and it's open to the public right off the road. You can go to McDonald's and get your ice cream and walk across our mini
Well, that was my
golf and
next
enjoy
question. I said,
yourself.
you're the only one with an in-house McDonald's.
Yes, it's
right?
basically in our parking lot.
Yeah, and then you got a Hannaford across the street. You got Rennie's down the street. You've got the Steakhouse and Mike's Clam Shack and
Yes.
Coggin's Donuts and
Congdon's Donuts, my favorite.
department stores,
We're 1 mile from the beach, too. and
pharmacies.
everything is centered right here. A lot of our guests come get checked in, run across to Hannaford and get what they need to cook out for dinner. We have a selection of things in the store too, but everything is right here. You're not way out in the middle of nowhere where you're stuck, and you have the access to that beautiful beach just a mile away from us. And if you're a shopper, the Kittery outlets are right around the corner.
And where are we one more time?
Wells Beach, Maine.
There we go. Sun Outdoors, Wells Beach. See you soon.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Camper Report Show. And my guest today is Karen Redfern, good friend from RBIA, Chief Marketing Officer, Senior Vice President of the Go RVing campaign. You got a lot of titles and a lot of work, Karen.
A lot, very much, but it's great to be with you, Bob.
Yeah, the more titles they give you, the more work they give you, right?
Absolutely, you know how that goes.
Well, you know, we're coming up on the camping season. We're just a few days away from Memorial Day weekend. That's always the unofficial style, certainly here in the Northeast. You've had a couple of studies done recently. You've done some revisions to Go RVing. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Well, we can talk a little bit about just the new look for Go RVing that we've had, you know, our logo. We redid last year. The program is more than 25 years old. So, you know, everybody needs a facelift at some point in their life. So we did that to the logo, tried to make something that was a little bit more current and things that the consumers would gravitate toward. And really because the icon represents the open road and heading in down toward that sunrise or that sunset, you know, when they go on their trips. So we kind of revamped it. We're still working with our Go on a Real Vacation. This year, our ads are really focusing on that word go, the first half of it. We talked about the real vacation aspect previously, but now that we know everybody's up and ready to go out and, you know, start exploring again, we're really focusing on telling people that now is the time to go and where they should go in a good way.
That's a great change. But it keeps the Go RVing in front of them and the going in front of them. And it's truly amazing that this campaign has been going for over 25 years now. I mean, I can remember when it started, and
I do too.
And, I mean, it is certainly the flagship product that RBIA has for, and in conjunction with RBDA, but getting the word out about really all aspects of our industry.
Right. I mean, the world was different at that time. And, you know, we started out with billboards and newspaper ads, and, you know, our industry wasn't as cohesive from the standpoint of doing their own marketing campaigns about their brands and their products. So what they looked at was, which makes our industry extremely cohesive, pooling together and coming up with a marketing program that was mostly focused on educating consumers, introducing them to what RVing was and is and why they want to be part of that and how it can really connect to what they do and what they love to do already in their lives, but we can help them to expand that.
Yeah, and you know, it was great. If there was anything that came out of COVID that was good, it certainly was the impact that it had on travel and leisure in the RV industry. It really, it just made people forget about ships and airplanes. And I'm not sure that we haven't certainly come back to where they were beforehand, but we added these new people, kept all the people that we had and added all these new people. But that also brings some challenges, right?
It has. I mean, we definitely have been focusing a lot on how can we help the campground industry as well. I mean, obviously, all these new people that are on the road, they're needing places to go. So we have started doing a lot of cooperative work and looking at it through our government affairs department, working with the federal government on some of those funds to, you know, update and modernize those public lands properties, as well as money that's available through grants for the privately owned campgrounds across the country.
You know, and it's a valid point, because we sold, well, certainly a 500,000 new units for 2 years in a row there. So it was well over 1 million units. And half of those went to new buyers. They'd never been in a campground, had never been in an RV. And then they go camping, and where's the first place that they're going to have a problem? It's probably in the campground if they have an issue.
Finding a place to get that reservation, yes.
Right, and they don't know that those people aren't trained technicians. They don't know how the system works. They don't know the resources that are available to them. So it is collective group of campgrounds and dealers and manufacturers that have to make sure that they have this information. And that's why we direct them to the Go RVing website. The numbers must be staggering when you think of how successful the website was prior to COVID. The numbers must be absolutely staggering in terms of impressions.
It is. And what's really great is what we see as far as the habits, of the consumers coming in on the website. Sometimes they look for one, topic, and then they would leave. And we know that they're staying longer on our site. We know that they're looking at those the video content that we have there that's educational for them. And with technology changing so much now, our ads that we do in print magazines, which is a much smaller number than it used to be, they all have the QR codes in there. So the consumer, as they're reading their favorite magazine in their hands, they can snap a picture with their smartphone, and it's going to take them directly into our website. And we're going to start them on that journey. And then we know where they came from, which ads are bringing in those consumers, which are the publications and the media sources that do the most to bring consumers in to get our messaging.
It's all about the data today, right?
It is data. Yes, it is.
Talk about being data driven. We certainly are. Now, you also recently did a study that RVIA came out with about 44 million people traveling this year. What were some of the statistics you found on the cost of RV travel and how that compares in the travel and leisure space?
Speaking of data, I mean, that's what we're looking at, trying to get an idea for the travel intentions of the, US consumers. And we've got 12 million who plan to go RVing this Memorial Day weekend. So I guess everybody better make sure you're traveling, not during the peak times, get out on the road, get to where you need to go, because there could be a lot of traffic on the roads this year. But we also know that there are 72 million Americans that plan on just taking an RV trip at some time this year. So we've, as we look through it, we've been suggesting to consumers that it's more than just for the summertime. And so we've got a lot that are looking at how to extend their travel seasons. But we did what we've referred to in the past as our vacation cost comparison. We've looked at taking in consideration with the ownership of the RV, but looking at what are the average cost savings. And it can be as much as up to 60% for a 4-person travel party. So when you look at a family with 2 children, mom and dad, 2 kids, and they're traveling by either airplane and hotels or car in hotels, or we look at those that are traveling by RV and staying in campgrounds, it can be up to 60% savings for that same vacation to the same destination. And a 2-person travel party can save on average about 45-46%. So, there's a lot of cost savings as well as the conveniences and freedom that we know that go along with RVing.
Yep. And I think that part of that study also showed that one of the number one reasons why people are going to travel more is their flexible work home schedule now. COVID completely turned it on its head. Talk about that and the impact that has on people coming to the Go RVing site, because they have this newfound time, because we finally realize people can work at home as productive or more productive than they did in the office. It took corporate America a long time to figure that out. We knew that
absolutely
for a long time. Now we get the data to back it up, right?
Right. There was, I don't know if you remember, it was a couple of years before COVID, there was a British gentleman who was doing a newscast, from home, and the door opened up and a little toddler came in the background, and then his wife came crawling on her hands and knees across the floor to try to grab the baby. I mean, those kinds of things happening were sometimes, a point where somebody could actually be fired from, if you were in real blue suit corporate America. But we've all gotten to be a lot more accepting that have changed in our lives and a balance of that work family life. So with so many people having a hybrid or a fully remote situation now, there are a lot more people who can plan to take some extended time to see some of the places so that when they wake up in the morning, they can get to work, but they're in a beautiful setting. They're in a national park. They're at the seashore. They're in the mountains. They're visiting an area that's always been on their bucket list. But they can, at least when they end their workday, they've got a couple hours they can go out and do some exploring. And then when the weekend comes, they're already there. They don't have to spend part of their weekend days traveling to get to the location. So that flexibility of remote working has really made a big difference in people being able to time to do some of that recreation and really feeling like mentally and physically they're having that work-life balance more than what they have at any other time in recent history anyway.
And they're happier. We did an interview recently with Joel Holland from Harvest Host, and that's a total virtual company. There are no offices, and he was in the Blue Ridge Mountains in his fifth wheel, broadcasting and doing the interview, watching his 2-year-old daughter outdoors and having fun. And then he was going to go out and play with her in the afternoon because he already had his work done. And
it's wonderful in that regard. And, you know, technology has started to catch up. I mean, there are still some areas that you're going to get that are going to be much more remote and rural, and your Wi-Fi signal may not be as good, but there's a lot of new technology being explored. And once that becomes more cost effective, there'll be ways to take that with you no matter where you are. And most of the time, if you're staying at a campground, they provide those services for you. So there's, you know, a lot of new technology has made this much more interesting and more appealing to people. And they've realized that you don't have to wait till that day that you retire to finally do some of those things when you may not be able to enjoy some of the things you can when you are in your 30s and 40s.
Well, you're
so
right.
People are finding a way to make everything happen at once.
You're right. Really, they can buy the RV earlier. They enjoy it longer. Our guest today has been Karen Redfern, Chief Marketing Officer and Senior VP of Go RVing. Karen, we've talked around that Go RVing. Maybe there's some folks on here that you don't even know what the website is. So how about give them the website and tell them what they're going to find there?
Sure. Go RVing is the website where you can find just about anything you need to get started on your quest to become an RVer. If it's information about the types of RVs, what you can do once you own that RV. We've got a lot of travel inspiration and trips that you can take. We've got links to tell you all about all the various types of RVs, and it takes you through some actual tours of each of those types of RVs. We can link you out to dealers that are in your area, links to the different manufacturers to go to their websites and see the variety of RVs they have to offer. And we've got links to get you out to the campgrounds, whether they be those out on the federal lands or the private campgrounds. So it is really just a hub of all kinds of great information to get you started.
It really is. And cooking recipes, and if you're going to rent one. So if you're not sure you want to buy one, you can rent one. So,
correct. There's the rental opportunities there so that you can try before you buy kind of ideas, see what you like. And then through all of our social media channels, we've got a presence on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, especially. There are a lot of short how-to videos. We've got a series with some of our social influencers who take you through, meeting up with the average person in a campground, and they do quick videos. 6 things I love about my RV, where that person talks about why they found this type of RV. And sometimes that gets people thinking about what kinds of features are they looking for in something when they actually get ready to make that purchase.
Well, it's very exciting because when you think, as you said earlier, when you look back at the start of the Go RVing, none of these technologies were out there. We didn't have the broadband and the Wi-Fi that was needed. And RVIA, Go RVing, RVD, they've grown with the technology. Actually, I would say they stayed ahead of the technology in terms of delivering quality content to RVers and campers nationwide. It's always been there. It's ready for them. And now you've entered into another stage.
We have, and we've got so many fantastic people that are providing their input people that have been RVing that can offer insight. You can hear it right from the experts who are doing it and taking their families. And so we found, especially in the last couple of years, our median age of all of our RVers is still about 53, which has come down from what it was a time ago. But what's really interesting to us and very promising for the future of RVing is that in 2020, for the first time, that median age dropped to 41 for first-time buyers. And then in our survey in 2021, that median age dropped down to 33, and then it continued to drop down to 32 in our 2022 study.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
We're getting, a lot of it has to do with what we were talking about, that working from the road, being able to take the families with you more often. And we're seeing those younger, because we do know that people who start RVing, or at least are introduced to it in their childhood, are much more likely to become an RVer and feel comfortable as an RVer in their adult life.
I agree. Karen, it's always great to have you on the show. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule.
I always appreciate it, Bob.
All right, we'll catch up to you down the road.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.